Well, greetings, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And it's been a little while as yet another semester started. My final one at my community college before I finally transfer to a four-year school. And of course, very not happy with the NFL results. I might do an NFL video, like literally ticked off video tomorrow. But that is besides on the point. I am back with another Apple video, and I have two white iPhones here. One is an iPhone 4, one of them is an iPhone 4S, and these are both special. We have an iPhone 4 GSM or AT&T version, since it's got the antenna line up top there. Actually, you can tell. SIM card slot, A1332 model number. And you might be thinking it's probably yet another white iPhone 4 on iOS 4. That is actually not the case with this one. As if you can see from the lock screen, it's on this weird typical confidential and proprietary. If found, please contact this number, which is crazy. I've seen these on eBay a few times, but I saw an auction with this iPhone, a couple of 4Ss on iOS 6 in rough condition, and a few completely bricked or boot-looping iPhone 4s or 4Ss. And it was an auction, and when I saw this, I knew what it was because I've seen a few of these floating around on eBay over the past year, and they just sold super quickly for hundreds of dollars. So I had to get this one. I won that auction, and I wanted to make sure I got one of these because this is actually a internal non-UI prototype, which is really cool. Unfortunately, none of these, I guess, got iOS 4 for whatever reason, even though the iPhone 4 originally shipped with iOS 4, obviously, but I'm not sure why it never got iOS 4 non-UI. I'm not sure why I've never seen any of those. But as you can tell, it's got the iOS 5.1 through 6.1.6 slide to unlock screen with the camera shortcut there. And you go in, it's got the typical iOS 5 layout. It does have the shortcut on because the home button is actually bust, so which is alright. But yeah, so the iOS 5 layout here. Excuse me. I'm also getting over a little cold as well. But yeah, it's got all these testing apps, which is crazy. And which I still have to play around with. I think that's really cool. But yeah, really cool. So, really cool device to have in my collection. And yeah, I was not going to pass it up on that one because these have sold super quickly. So 5.1.1, 8 gig, and weird the internal settings down there. So quite interesting. But yeah, so really cool. If I go into any of these apps, curious. So, all right, some of them do crash. But pretty cool. Mazer, all right, down crash. So, but so pretty cool. And yeah, Twitter tester. That's funny. Crashed. So few very interesting. I did not know that these were a thing until I believe February 2024, so almost the whole entire year. Um, Pretty cool. But yeah, pretty cool to play around with. This is now my second iPhone prototype. Um, so pretty cool on nav. It's technically on paper not running its original version of iOS, but the fact it's a prototype um, is still pretty cool. So yeah, besides that one, iPhone 4, iOS 5, um, prototype iOS software. And now we got an iPhone 4S. There we go. You can tell it's a 4S. There's no antenna line up there. SIM card slot. Although this one is very unique because this is an overseas iPhone 4S. Now I have an iPhone 3GS 4 and 4S that are overseas. I used to have another 4S that was overseas. That was all on the way up to iOS 9, which I believe is why I sold it. I found it at my local Target back in 2021, and I held on to it for a while, and then I did end up selling it or destroying it. I can't remember, but it was overseas. But it is indeed running its original version of iOS 5 here. Unlike that one, there's no prototype or anything. It's just stock iOS 5, but it is jailbroken, so which is really cool. And it's got some apps on here. So let's confirm. This should also be iOS 5.1.1, yes. And it's a 16 gig, a few applications, a few photos. So pretty cool, but something to note here is there's no YouTube app nor iTunes store. So for whatever reason, there's no YouTube, no iTunes store. This is Japan, I believe. So that and then there's a City app since it's jailbroken, obviously. So let's see if it will actually load here. Yes, it did. All Japanese, a few apps. Looks like a mapping service. My IRC. Alright, now I'm crashed. I IRC don't understand Japanese, so no idea. But still really cool to have. So when I store this one, the way move for it, a little bit different compared to all on your apps here. But so kind of going through WeChat. So alright. So pretty cool that this iPhone somehow made it on eBay. And I think I got it for like $70 or so. But when I stored it, it was overseas. And a little bit unique. I decided not to pass up on it. So, so just a few differences one more time. It's got a different model number on the back. I believe it's A1431, but it's still an iPhone 4S, just a Japanese model. White 16 gig, iOS 5.1.1. No stock YouTube app, which iOS 5.1.1 was the last version to have the stock YouTube app. And no iTunes store. So I guess none of those two services were available in Japanese on iOS 5. So, although on my overseas iOS free iPhone 3GS, it also does not have the YouTube app, or I don't think it has the iTunes store either. But so for whatever reason, those weren't available overseas back in the early days. So that's cool. But one other thing that's different is if I power the iPhone off, power it back on, because all this power button is stiff. It's annoying. It'll make a weird noise. And also, if you put it on charge, it'll just show the battery symbol. So let me grab my 30-pin connector here. And what's weird is it will show, even though the battery is not fully flat, right? It will actually show the charge symbol, kind of like on a lot of Androids, early Androids, which is crazy. And so, and yeah, right. So I mean, it won't automatically boot up. I think you have to hit the power button in order for it to finish booting up. So that's kind of funny. And then it will show you the Apple logo, and then it will eventually just boot up. Right here. So really cool. So two really rare iPhones here. Of course, this iPhone 4 on iOS 5 prototype software. And then, of course, this iPhone 4S on iOS 5 overseas. Right? It's in Japan overseas. It didn't make that weird noise, I guess. But I showed you on the battery things. That's something that's massively different as well. But to find a overseas iPhone 4S on iOS 5 is pretty rare. Yeah, super rare. So when I start out, it's like, all right, might as well claim this. So, yeah. So I mean, two pretty cool iPhones here. And peace out, everybody.